The comments and statements made within the show are the opinions of the commentators and their guests, have not been evaluated by the FDA, and are in no way attempt to diagnose, treat, mitigate, cure, or prevent any disease or illness. The contents of the show are not to be construed as medical advice. If you have a health condition or health concern, please contact a licensed, qualified healthcare practitioner.
Oh my, what have you found, Franny? Let's see what they say. Latest and greatest. You found more. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Excellent sleuthing, Fran. Fran, I think this is a new case for the Supplement Super Sleuth. Dig, Franny, dig! Time to go down the rabbit hole and see what we can find. Goodness, where are we? Aha! Take a look at this. Hi there, Supplement Super Sleuth here for our next episode number 44. I'll be doing this podcast a couple times a month, depending upon my schedule. Well, the whole purpose of it is to share some perspectives of natural health and healing. I might interview some key people and thought leaders in the natural healing industry to hear their knowledgeable perspectives, share their wisdom. I have 4 different segments to this show. Not today. I only do one at a time. But anything could happen, right? Naturals in the News, where I share general info on brand new research posted on all types of health subjects. My favorite things, where I spotlight an herb or supplement that I adore, with a deep dive into history, clinical research, and clinical use of said herb or supplement. There's Naturals in the Know. That's when I interview key thought leaders and successful holistic practitioners from a wide variety of disciplines. And finally, my newest segment entitled What's Old is New Again, where I share historical information on the weird and lost healing therapies of old that might be having a renaissance in an updated, modern manner. So, with that said, let's begin. So today, in this episode, it's my favorite things. And so many of you know that I do have my go-tos, right? The herbs that I love and I feel like I've been using for a long time for different issues, and nutraceuticals, and formulas that I really love that I notice working clinically. So today, given that, this particular episode is being done the final third of the year of 2023, and as we move into the darkest time of the year and the coldest time of the year, I always think of ginger. Right? Oh my gosh, in so many different ways, not just ginger tea, although that's so great. If you've been out shoveling or if you've just been out in a very cold rain, how great to drive the cold out of the body. But also, foot baths and compresses and poultices on the lower back if your back gets cold, and that happens, or your shoulders get really cold. You get a little cold wind in the shoulders and the neck. There's nothing like a ginger poultice. Pretty spectacular. So today, we're just going to dive right in and dig. There's so much on ginger. I could spend hours talking about it. But Crystal, who is a big part of my practice, she is, she's actually the boss of me. I always say that to her. You're the boss of me. She is my administrative assistant, but she's also really a very key person in helping me to produce this podcast and also my blog. So she plays a big role and a growing role. She's a young budding herbalist herself. And she's also a licensed massage therapist. And pretty darn gifted. So here we go. Ginger, also known as ardraka And ganjiang is a TCM name for ginger. It's a knotted beige underground stem called a rhizome. So it's not the root, it's a stem that moves under the ground, and those are called rhizomes. There are about 100, anywhere between 100 and 150 species in the genus Zingiber. And the origin of ginger can be traced back to India and China in their southern regions. Its popularity allowed it to spread to other areas. The Maluku Islands, also known as Spice Islands, right? As well as all throughout Asia, West Africa, and of course India. It's been there for a very long time as well. They're not really sure where it was, it China that started it or India that started it. If you really look at the literature from both Ayurveda and um, traditional Chinese medicine, it's dicey to figure out where. I'm thinking, it's good 2,000-3,000 years on both sides. So it's a weed, so it could have been there, and both cultures could have started it at a very long time ago. Ginger was first introduced to Europe by the Romans, who traded with India in the 1st century. It is considered a true cultigen, meaning it's a plant that's been cultivated and altered by humans. And there is wild ginger, but the type that we use is a cultivar. And it's been cultivated for more than 2,000 years, maybe even 3,000. Um, the scientific or Latin name for ginger is Zingiber officinale. The modern name for ginger is ginger. That's what it is. And the Middle English word gingivere, the history of the spice dates back definitely to, if not 3,000 years. 3,000 years we've seen it in Ayurvedic literature in Sanskrit, in the word Shrangavaram. Shrangavaram, which means horn root, due to its appearance. It looks just like a horn. And in Greek, ginger was known as Zigiberus, and in Latin, Zinziberi. So, very old. In China, 2,500 years, ginger was used medicinally. It helps with digestion, it treats nausea, it helps modulate bleeding disorders. It was used for rheumatism, baldness. Yeah, there's galanga is used for baldness, and it's a type of ginger. Um, Southeast Asian ginger was a aphrodisiac and used for baldness. Uh, Toothache, snake bite. It's also used for respiratory conditions. It's antiemetic, stops vomiting. It's great if you have a little, they say in Italian, agita, like a little stomach issue. Ginger's used as a carminative. It helps to promote digestion, reduce intestinal gas. It also helps increase peristalsis. So if you have motility issues, ginger is often used to increase motility for people who have a sluggish bowel. In Ayurveda, the traditional medicine of India, ginger is extensively used to prevent excessive clotting found in heart disease, reduce cholesterol levels. It's used with other herbs, and also to combat arthritis. It's used with other herbs to combat arthritis. In Malaysia and in Indonesia, that's where you'll see galangal more in Indonesia, a type of ginger. It's a different strain of ginger that's great for as an aphrodisiac. It still has the other components of ginger, though, warming to the tummy, anti-nausea, that kind of thing. New mothers often consume ginger soup in Indonesia days after delivery to stay warm and to eliminate any impurities through natural sweating. In Arabian medicine, they recognize ginger for its aphrodisiac properties. And certain African cultures believe regular consumption of ginger repels mosquitoes, just like anything like quinine. Additionally, herbalists recommend ginger as a circulatory enhancer, capable of augmenting the therapeutic effects of other herbs. And that's true. Sometimes when you're taking herbs that are maybe more alterative, ginger will reduce any kind of negative side effects that you could have with alterative herbs. Alterative herbs are not tonic herbs. Tonic herbs are meant to be taken every day on a long-term basis. They're very safe. They're usually our spice herbs, basically. But those other herbs that create change, those sometimes have other constituents to them, that could be a little harsh on the body. And ginger mollifies that. It really meets out, excessively strong other herbs. Ginger was commonly used as a hot infusion to alleviate congestion and also menstrual pain that's related to coldness. Ginger is a rich source of beneficial bioactive compounds such as gingerols, shogaols, paradols, and zingerones. And there's so many others. There's over 500 chemical compounds that make up ginger. To make ginger what it is. It's a beautiful herb and a complex herb. Those particular compounds that we just mentioned contributed to its very unique flavor and aroma and also its health benefits. And because of its versatility, ginger can be used all alone or combined with other herbs and supplements. And sometimes it brings out other synergistic and potent medicinal qualities of other herbs that are in formula with it. Ginger has been traditionally used for centuries as a natural remedy for various gastrointestinal disorders. Research suggests that ginger consumption may be beneficial in relieving dyspepsia, functional dyspepsia, nausea, and vomiting. In a 2019 systematic review entitled Ginger and Gastrointestinal Disorders, Systematic Review of Clinical Trials by Dr. Bodaga et al., and published in Food Science and Nutrition Journal, aimed to summarize the current evidence of the effects of ginger consumption on GI disorders. The author discussed the various compounds found in ginger and its use in traditional medicine to address various ailments. It specifically focused on the efficacy of ginger for addressing GI issues like dyspepsia, functional dyspepsia, nausea, and vomiting. The study concluded that a daily dosage of 1,500 milligrams, which is 1.5 grams, divided into lower doses, showed benefits for relieving nausea. So you would take 1.5 grams, split it into 3, and have it over the day. However, as the saying goes, more research is needed to determine the optimal dose and preparation of ginger for GI protective agents and to investigate its potential in GI disorders with limited research studies. Ginger has also been traditionally used for centuries for its pain relieving properties. Research suggests that ginger may help reduce inflammation, which is often associated with pain. It has shown promise in managing various types of pain, including arthritis, muscle soreness, and even some types of migraines. In a 2011 study titled The Use of Ginger, which is Gingembre officinale, for the treatment of pain, a systematic review of clinical trials, written by Rohini Terry et al., and published in Pain Medicine Journal, aimed to evaluate the effectiveness of ginger in treating pain. The systematic review analyzed multiple clinical trials involving human participants who had used ginger for pain management. A total of 8 trials with a total of 481 participants were included in the review. The trials examined various pain conditions such as osteoarthritis, dysmenorrhea, and experimentally induced acute muscle pain, which means they took a punch and punched the muscle, created pain. The results showed that ginger effectively reduced subjective pain reports in 6 of the trials. However, Due to the limited number of well-conducted trials, the current evidence regarding the efficacy of ginger for pain treatment remains insufficient. Nevertheless, the available data provide tentative support for the anti-inflammatory properties of ginger, suggesting its potential to reduce pain in conditions such as osteoarthritis. The researchers conducted that further rigorous trials are needed to establish the efficacy of ginger as a pain treatment, but it's definitely something to think about. And it's definitely one of my favorite herbs to use topically for pain. A lot of people think of eucalyptus or menthol, but I love ginger, especially if you're aging and there's coldness. If the hands are cold and the knuckles are cold or the knees are cold, like if you touch the knees and they're cold, ginger's perfect for this. As a poultice, you can put it on top. So, or the feet are cold, right? If there's heat, then I wouldn't typically use ginger, right? But because ginger's warming, it's very warming. So, if you have pain and it's related to coldness, right, this is fantastic. Like old injuries, right? That just, it's been many years since you sprained that ankle or many years since you pulled that hamstring, right? But you still have pain there. It's nothing like a ginger poultice or patch. It's one of my favorite ways to use this herb. So there was this other study entitled Topical Ginger Treatment with a Compress or Patch for Osteoarthritis Symptoms, written by Tessa Thurkelson and published in 2014 in the Journal of Holistic Nursing, examined the potential of topical ginger treatment for alleviating osteoarthritis symptoms in older adults. The study evaluated two groups of participants using either a standardized ginger patch or manually prepared ginger compresses that were administered by trained nurses over 7 consecutive days. In the following 24 weeks of self-treatment, all participants used the ginger patch as required while completing weekly and monthly brief arthritis questionnaires. The study found that the ginger treatment relieves symptoms such as pain, fatigue, and functional status and improved health satisfaction and overall health in older adults with chronic osteoarthritis. The authors suggested that topical ginger treatment holds promise as an alternative therapy and can potentially increase independence and quality of life in older adults with osteoarthritis. However, they highlight the need for further research to establish the safety and efficacy of topical ginger and other alternative therapies in treating chronic pain and conditions such as osteoarthritis. So, good news for those of you who find it difficult to tolerate the spiciness of ginger by eating it or drinking it. You can always opt for topical applications instead. And I highly recommend it. You can take the tea that might just be a little too spicy for you and use it instead as a foot bath. And it is remarkable that way, or you can make your own compresses or come see me and I'll take care of it for you. I'll do a little poultice for you, put it on your knees, your lower back, or what have you. And there you go. Off you go, right? Pretty remarkable. Ginger, there's some more. So hang in there. There's lots to talk about with ginger. It's a key component of Gurgan Tang, okay? And an herbal formula that has been recognized for its antiviral properties against human respiratory virus or HRSV, syncytial virus. So human respiratory syncytial virus. Despite Gurgan Tang's proven efficacy, it remains uncertain whether ginger alone can effectively combat the virus. And I would say the formula is far more complex and better for the virus than just ginger alone. But if you're stuck somewhere and all you have is ginger, then I would use it. Use something instead of nothing, right? One clinical study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology in 2013 that was entitled Fresh Ginger, Zingiber officinale, has antiviral activity against human respiratory syncytial virus in human respiratory tract cell lines. So that's an in vitro, but again, interesting and leading, right? The research was written by Yung Sun Chong et al., aimed to determine the effectiveness of ginger in inhibiting HRSV in human respiratory tract cell lines. They found that fresh ginger, not dried ginger, had a dose-dependent inhibitory effect on HRSV-induced plaque formation in both the upper and lower respiratory tract cell lines. Additionally, fresh ginger demonstrated the ability to block viral attachment and internalization, which means that the virus has to stick onto the outer surface of your cell before it can get into the cell, where it steals the genetic material and then replicates, right? So without that, the virus can't replicate. So ginger blocked the virus's ability to attach itself to the outer surface of the cell. The study suggested that the antiviral activity of fresh ginger may be attributed to its ability to stimulate the secretion of interferon beta in mucosal cells, which can help counteract viral infection. And overall, the findings support the potential of fresh ginger as an agent to possibly manage HRSV infection, but still subject to an awful lot of research. Not enough human clinical yet on that. Ginger is recognized for its thermoregulatory abilities. This is really important because a lot of people don't know how to warm up. Like they can't get warm enough. They think they have to move to Florida or Texas, or nothing wrong with that. But sometimes moving is not in the it's not in the cards, right? But ginger can help to aid in maintaining body temperature. When consumed, ginger can generate a pretty substantial warming effect and is very advantageous in colder climates or cold seasons. And moreover, it supports circulation and enhances blood flow, benefiting individuals with poor circulation on those prone to feeling cold. I know people who wear sweaters in the summer and they're just cold all the time. Ginger's right for them, right? In 2018 study titled Effects of Foot Baths. Yay, I love foot baths with mustard, ginger, or warm water only on objective and subjective warmth distribution in healthy subjects, a randomized controlled trial, which we love, right? Published in Complementary Therapies in Medicine Journal and written by Vegades et al., investigated the thermogenic effects of foot baths with warm water alone versus when combined with mustard or ginger. Mustard like mustard seed, not like mustard you spread on a hot dog. Okay. The study was randomized with 17 healthy volunteers. Participants received foot baths with warm water alone, warm water with mustard, or warm water with ginger in that randomized order. Like nobody knew what they were getting, pretty much. The primary outcome measure was perceived warmth in the feet, assessing and using a warmth perception questionnaire. Secondary outcomes include perceived warmth in the face and the hands, as well as actual skin temperature measured with thermography. The results showed that foot baths with mustard and ginger significantly increased perceived warmth in the feet compared to foot baths with warm water alone. The effect was still significant for ginger at the 10-minute follow-up. However, there were no significant effects on perceived warmth in the face or the hands. Thermography assessment demonstrated that skin temperature at the feet increased after all conditions, while temperature at the hands decreased. Another study entitled Hyperthermic Effect of Ginger Beverage on Skin Surface Temperature in Women with Cold Sensitivity, written by Sugimoto et al. And published in 2018 in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine Journal, investigates the impact of consuming a ginger-containing beverage on skin surface temperature in women with cold sensitive extremities, like Raynouts or just people who just can never, their hands and feet can never get warm, right? The study involved 6 healthy women who drank either the ginger-containing or a placebo beverage in a temperature-controlled room. They measured the palm temperature using a thermographic camera before intake and every 10 minutes after intake for 60 minutes. The findings showed that the consumption of ginger-containing beverages increased palm temperature for 20 minutes, which was maintained significantly longer than after placebo intake. Based on the questionnaire, subjects also reported that their increased body temperature was sustained after drinking the ginger beverage. The study suggested that ginger extract containing beverages can improve cold sensitivity and enhance thermogenesis by increasing peripheral circulation. It concludes by showing that mild and acceptable doses of ginger extract in palatable beverages could have significant benefits to individuals experiencing cold sensitivity. Whew, that was a lot of info about just one little herb, right? And a cooking herb at that. But it really is an amazing herb. And if you have any questions as how it might be best for you or how you should integrate ginger into your wintertime regimen, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Okay, this episode is fast coming to a close. And if you're wondering who I am, I'm Nan, and I've had a complementary health and herbal clinic, both part-time and full-time, for more than 30 years, focused on difficult to treat conditions. And also, I have been a spokesperson and educator in the natural products industry for I think I did it for almost 25 years, for some of the more reputable and well-known companies. You can connect with me in person by going to my website at www.watersedgewellness.com or by reaching out to me through my social media sites on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You'll find my TikTok page under Herbal Answers, Water's Edge Wellness, Herbal Answers. I think that's what we do. And if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to and like Supplement Super Sleuth, where podcast can be found. And please share our podcast with interested friends and family. It would be super fantastic if you could let me know if there's any subject matter in the natural health field which you are particularly interested in. Just add some comments on the podcast that you're listening to, or reach out to me social media or through the website. Okay, and with all of that, really take good care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon.
Well, Super Sleuths, we've conducted a very thorough investigation of this case, and we've learned a lot. Fran, you can show us the way home now.
What are you doing?
Fran, you're amazing! We're home! Tune in again for the next Supplement Sleuth adventure. Take good care, and Fran and I will see you soon. Say goodbye, Fran.